If a guy hooks up with 100 women, they call him a stud. But if a woman were to do the same thing, they call her a slut. Why in our society do we have these double standards and hypocrisy? The same rule should apply to both.
You're going to be the host of Splitsvilla.
Yes.
Splitsvilla season 15.
Yes.
So you're replacing MTV's biggest house name, Rannvijay Singha.
I'm not even watching any of the old episodes because then subconsciously I should not feel like I'm doing kisi aur ka nakal, whether it's Arjun, whether it's Ran, whoever it is, right? I actually feel the marketing campaign was not aligned with what the movie was trying to say because they were just kind of promoting the songs and they were just showing like the hot scenes and all. And
Kalesh, Clichés और कटाक्ष।
वेलकम टू कटाक्ष। आज हमारे साथ जो जुड़े हैं उन्हें आप लोग ज़रूर जानते होंगे। इनसाइड एज, बजाओ, वन नाइट स्टैंड और अब तो MTV स्प्लिट्सविला, ऐसे टॉप सीरीज़ और शोज़ का पार्ट होने के बाद आज हम लोग मिल रहे हैं तनुज विरवानी के साथ। तनुज जो कि एक बहुत ही अच्छे इंसान है, ये हमें पॉडकास्ट के थ्रू पता चला और उनसे बात करके पता चलता है कि सेलिब्रिटीज़ कितने डिफरेंट होते हैं, हम लोग का कितने मिसकंसेप्शंस होते हैं सेलिब्रिटी और एक्टिंग लाइफ के बारे में। तो इसी के साथ हम लोग आज आपको पॉडकास्ट के थ्रू तनुज और साथ ही साथ बॉलीवुड से रूबरू कराना चाहते हैं। तो बिना ज़्यादा देर किए शुरू करते हैं आज के कटाक्ष। हाय तनुज एंड वेलकम टू कटाक्ष।
Well, welcome to my home. Thank you for making the trip here, you and your entire team. And I think आज बहुत मजा आने वाला है.
Literally, because you have a very beautiful home. पीछे मतलब this is like a dream.
It is
palace.
It actually is. I'm very grateful that my family has this home.
Okay.
It provides us a wonderful respite and break from the chaos जो शहर में होते हैं, with Mumbai and everything. So we really like being here.
Mumbai तो we go out for shoots in Mumbai and बहुत ही ऐसे माइंड फक हो जाता है जाके कि
हो तो जाता है, ऑफ कोर्स, एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली मेरे लिए क्या है ना, मैं टाउन साइड में रहता हूँ। इफ आप अगर मुंबई के ज्योग्राफी के साथ वाकिफ हो, सो आई लिव इन साउथ बॉम्बे एंड 90% ऑफ शूट्स हैपन इन द सबर्ब्स। तो यानी कि जाने आने में ना, लाइक इट हैज बिकम रियली
we are still
you don't know कि जब आप घर से निकलोगे whether you're going to reach your destination in half an hour or 1.5 hours.
एक्चुअली
और फिर वापस भी आना पड़ता है ना। सो
एक तो पॉइंट हुआ, प्लस हम लोग के साथ ऐसा होता है कि वी आर स्टिल इन दैट ट्रैवलिंग स्पेस कि हम लोग लोकल से ही ट्रैवल करते हैं प्लेसेस टू।
बट देयर इज अ डिफरेंट फन विद दैट, बिकॉज़ जब मैं कॉलेज में था तो आई यूज्ड टू लिव एट जुहू दैट टाइम एंड माय कॉलेज वाज एट चर्च गेट, so it didn't make sense to drive up and down in those days. And in those days, trust me, we did not even have the ceiling, so it would take forever. We would have to go through Bandra, then Dadar, and then Prabhadevi, and then eventually at some point we'll reach Churchgate. So we used to also take the train and we used to have so much fun. But you don't want to go during rush hour
and
because it gets crazy.
अब ये तो अब क्योंकि I do not live in Bombay तो मुझे पता नहीं, but every time I go it looks like a rush hour.
Whether you live in Bombay or no, you have to be alert about the rush hour, because rush hour भी कुछ भी हो सकता है।
पता नहीं, हम लोग तो जब जाते हैं we feel like अभी rush hour है। Because this one time हम लोग we were getting off on Dadar and the train was totally empty. And it was an AC local.
So you were telling me before we started this podcast that you guys study in Pune, right?
Yes.
I love Pune. We have been coming to Pune since like I was a little kid. In fact, we have a place also there at this place called Uday Bagh next to Sopan Bagh. Not too far from Koregaon Park. And we love coming there. And जो आपके पास restaurants है, my God. It's also one of the student capitals of India, right? I think maybe that's the reason. Fantastic.
Cafe culture and
very nice. And chill culture है ना?
बहुत ज़्यादा chill है।
मतलब वो वहाँ पे ऐसा vibe नहीं है कि अरे तू जानता है मैं नहीं, मेरा बाप कौन है, all that nonsense doesn't happen there.
नहीं।
Everybody is doing their own thing. In a way, Pune is very similar to Bangalore. It's got a chill vibe, Yeah. So
people are more involved into their lives and chilling.
Yeah, which is good.
And
Bombay में तो it's become अरे हाँ इसकी ये किसके साथ है, ये कितने पैसे कमा रहा है, इसके साथ क्या हो रहा है, it's become very पम्मी आंटी।
ये इस जगह पे बैठा है तो ये किस कनेक्शन की वजह से बैठा है, कौन सा लूप है,
how did he get that film? ये सब चलता है।
Obviously.
Yeah, very bitchy.
And more than that, अभी आपने बताया कि you got married in this villa. Congratulations on your marriage.
Thank you.
Very happy for you.
Actually, I did. We actually sitting at the very venue just a month back, exactly a month back actually.
Okay.
32 days to be precise. Yeah, I got married on the 25th of December. So
I'm waiting कि अब आप मुझे minutes और seconds भी बता दो कितने।
नहीं यार, मैं दिल चाहता है कि सुबोध नहीं हूँ।
लगता है इसके बाथरूम जाने का टाइम हो गया।
Oh भाई, that Saif Ali Khan mimicry is so on point.
Yeah.
But तो for how long have you dated your wife now?
So we actually go back a very long way. I've known her for close to 10 years. We didn't honestly date for that long, but we've been in touch for the longest time. वो पहले मुंबई में रहती थी. Then she shifted back to Singapore, where she's originally from. And then we just decided that, hey, listen, if we want to give this a serious shot, then we must
Stay together?
be in the same city, and if possible, take permission from your parents, come live in with me. Luckily my parents were pretty broad-minded. I think it's important, and I highly advocate that to all young couples out there, because only when you live with each other do you actually get a sense of what you're signing up for in marriage. नहीं तो क्या है कि गर्लफ्रेंड बॉयफ्रेंड में क्या होता है, you will spend some time together, you might do a holiday together, but eventually आप अपने खुद के घर चले जाते हो. So I think it's very important. It's healthy.
दिन का एक आर वो स्वीट आर बन के रह जाता है.
हाँ,
Then you never know कि
फिर वो कहते हैं ना
what kind of
honeymoon
person you are.
period. But why have a honeymoon period when you can just have a honeymoon for life? And for that, you need to understand your partner. She needs to understand you, and you'll need to accept the good, bad, and ugly in each other. Because see, at the end of the day, nobody is perfect.
हाँ,
Anyone who thinks, oh, I'm perfect, or nothing is perfect. You have to love your partner not because of, but in spite of. That's what I feel.
हाँ. तो
Sound like one ज्ञानी बाबा ना right now.
अब 10 साल की नॉलेज के बाद अपने पार्टनर की एंड डेटिंग एंड नाउ गेटिंग मैरिड टू
Yeah.
इस मामले में तो है ज्ञानी बाबा.
Yeah.
तो क्या एक ऐसी क्वालिटी है जो आपको लगता है कि आपकी वाइफ आप में झेल रही है?
पेशेंस यार, वो बड़ी पेशेंट है, और मैं काफी इम्पेशेंट हूँ. सो दैट इज डेफिनेटली वन थिंग दैट आई हैव टू
वो
गिव
इंसान जो अगर कोई पीछे हॉन्क कर रहा हो तो निकल के मुझ पे.
ऑल्सो क्या है कि बिकॉज वो सिंगापुर से है ना, तो शी इज यूज्ड टू अ मच, वी कीप जोकिंग दैट I'm used to very, very hectic. Bombay in a lot of ways is like New York, right? It's very chaotic and hectic, and सबको लगता है कि वो एक rat race के हिस्सा है. सिंगापुर में सब बड़े सिक्योर रहते हैं. They know that
अपने पीस ऑफ माइंड
इतने ही लोग हैं शहर में, क्या होने वाला है. It's a little different kind of vibe, and I feel the place that you hail from और आपकी conditioning, it plays a big role in the larger scheme of things. So yeah.
तो I think it was a very good experience for you कि getting married in this villa only.
Yeah.
I think you've grown up here.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yes.
तो
Yes.
ऐसा नहीं लगता है कि कभी कभी बचपन वाला तनुज घूमता हुआ दिख रहा है यहाँ पे?
अभी भी बच्चा ही हूँ, but no, of course, I mean, I have some amazing memories here from Lonavala. Only difference is, I think हम लोग हमसे almost 20 साल से यहाँ है, तो उन दिनों में there were no other bungalows and less noise and more greenery around. But luckily for us, जो आप पीछे देख रहे हो, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but that's basically a green zone for the government. So I don't think they can keep building and turn that into a concrete jungle. The reason I keep running away from Bombay because Mumbai honestly has become a concrete jungle, right? And आजकल everybody is, even me, I'm also guilty. I'm very fixated with, अच्छा, what is the AQI in Bombay today? What is the AQI at Worli today? We have become like so,
conscious
slaves to it almost, So yeah, but of course I have some amazing memories, and also the thing is we have actually extended the house now since the family has become bigger. So yeah.
So since you've known your partner for 10 years almost,
जी.
लेकिन ऐसे when we consider the industry, तो हम लोगों को लगता है कि भाई हर ही इंसान में ऐसे कैसनोवा कॉम्प्लेक्स होगा कि multiple girlfriends going around.
Of course. I mean, see, I'm not going to deny the fact. I've also gone through my phase. I've dated people. I've been single. I've had a lot of fun and stuff. The most important thing is don't let your partner down when they trust you and they have faith in you. That's something I try not to do. I also expect my partner not to do. And the best way to keep your spouse, your girlfriend or your wife, completely in the loop. So that she has a sense of security. So whether I'm shooting, whether I'm out of town, whether I'm going for an event, not that she has to come. I mean, that's her choice at the end of the day. But I always give her the option that, hey, listen, would you like to accompany me? Many times I've seen some of the actors and all, like they very consciously keep their girlfriends
Spouses
and
away
wives and sometimes husbands away from set so they can do their thing over there. So I think that's not cool, And at the end of the day, I don't feel like more of all this goes on in the industry. Maybe you could say a tad bit more because it's a field with a lot of glamour and hence a lot of temptation. But yeah, I mean, मेरे ख्याल से हर industry में होता है. It's just a thing that because the spotlight is always on us as actors or as influencers. So I feel that's why it gains a lot more eyeballs as opposed to like I'm sure this happens in business, it happens in corporate also, but it just
So-
gets a lot more.
I still feel कि थोड़ा वो uncomfortable factor भी हो सकता है लोगों की वजह से. For example, your wife is on the set and you're doing a romantic scene with say Sunny Leone.
हाँ.
तो वो थोड़ा uncomfortable नहीं लगता है?
I mean, that you'll have to ask her. But no, see, again, to be
मैं तो
honest,
enjoy कर रहा
no,
हूँ.
see, again, to be honest, I'll probably give an answer which you'll think is boring, but when I'm acting, I'm not playing a version of myself. I'm not playing Tanuj. I'm basically the person who I am. My job is to provide the vessel between what the writer has written, what the director wants to convey, and how do I
The
bring
audience
it?
wants to
Yeah.
watch.
So, like Bruce Lee has that quote, right? Like, like you put water in a jar, it becomes a jar. You put it in a mug, it becomes a mug. You put it in a glass, it becomes a glass. You have to be water, my friend. So, as an actor, you have to be fluid. So, my partner cannot be sitting and thinking that, oh my God, he did a romantic, hot, steamy scene with XYZ on screen. That means something is on. That insecurity should not ever stem from what is that, because that is my job. That is my line of work. And Tanya, before she even got together with me, knew it's my line of work. And obviously, I had done scenes even before I met her, even before we started dating. So there's no insecurity as such. Maybe it might get a little awkward. Maybe she doesn't want to be on set if I've got a kissing scene or something with someone else. But yeah.
तो एक और चीज जो मैंने देखी आंखें
जी.
कि आपका जो सेटअप है ऑफ द होल प्लेस, इट इज वेरी जेंजी काइंड ऑफ कि नीचे you have a room for Marvel superheroes.
Oh, you
ऊपर
saw
you have
that?
DC.
Yeah.
So-
So actually, everything that you saw is a new section of the house. So क्या है? This is the reason why you see all that over here is because ये पहले बम्बई के घर में हुआ करता था.
Okay.
But now since I have a partner and I have a wife, I needed to make more space for her, so she has enough space for herself. Now, otherwise she'll be complaining to her parents in Singapore कि यार उसने मुझे यहाँ बुलाया, I don't have any space only.
मुझसे ज्यादा स्पेस सुपर
Exactly, ये Iron Man और Hulk और ये सब आ गए. So actually I've been thinking about it for a while that whenever I do settle down, I'll move all my stuff. So right now, I don't know if you enter the room, but it's very much a work in progress. Most of the things are in Bombay. So एक एक करके I am just moving the stuff.
बड़ा ही
here.
आयरॉनिकल हो जाता अगर वाइफ को सनी लियोनी से ज्यादा आयरन मैन से दिक्कत हो जाती तो.
But ऐसा ही है. ऐसा ही है. So as I said, you have to make your partner feel secure. So this is also another step in that direction.
Okay, and are you a movie buff या फिर
Yes, I'm a complete movie buff. I'm a huge cinephile. You can quiz me about any movie, Hindi, English, regional, international. I love films. Yeah. For me, watching films, being part of films is life. Is the happiest thing.
तो ये कनेक्शन आप एक्टिंग चूज इसलिए किए बिकॉज यू लाइक वाचिंग फिल्म्स या फिर बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली आई डोंट थिंक आज तक किसी ने आप पे ये वो नहीं डाला होगा कि ये ओपिनियन नहीं थ्रो किया होगा कि यू आर हियर बिकॉज यू हैव एन एक्टिंग बैकग्राउंड. Everybody knows that your mother, Rati Agnihotri.
Sure,
ma'am,
but you have to
she
also
was-
understand, if you look at the timeline, my mom actually took a very long break from acting when she got married. Right? She didn't work for 16 years as an actor. Then she made a return in her second innings when I was about 15 years old. So by then I'd already sort of grown up, the formative years and all over. So it's not like I was directly very, like enticed by Bollywood as such because of that. But as I grew up, I knew that I found myself always leaning towards creativity as opposed to, like my dad's in real estate and construction and stuff. And as much as I appreciate what he does, but that didn't interest me or that didn't fascinate me. I didn't find it like creatively stimulating. So for me, I wanted to follow a field and be part of something. My vocations were different. And I always thought that I'll do something creative. So I was studying advertising when I was in college. I've even worked at an ad agency. I went through a phase where me and one of my really close friends, we got together and we started this t-shirt company with like different slogans and stuff. I had a mini RC, like radio control car racing track in Pune only. We have a shopping center there called Virwani Plaza. So in the parking lot, this is on East Street, just off Main Street. So I'd started that. It was called Burnout. I'd done that with my cousin brother. So I'd done a lot of different creative things. And then I'm like, I'm quite fascinated by movies. I want to understand what this craft is all about. So I became an assistant director for a few years. I'd assisted on a film with Shahid Kapoor and Janelia called Chance Pe Dance, a film with Aftab Shivdasani called Aao Wish Kare, a film with Kamal Hassan, a bunch of different things. And then at some point I'm like, you know what, I'm really fascinated with the whole process of actors and how they switch on and switch off. The moment it's action, they just transform into that character. Like exactly like water. And the moment it's cut, they again come back into their real life persona. So I found that entire journey like बड़ा fascinating था मेरे लिए. And I'm like, यार एक try तो बनता है. So I went to acting school. I started taking things more seriously. मैंने अपने आप पर काम किया. I started grooming myself, and I'm like, let's
वो कभी प्रेशर नहीं आया कि डैड का बिजनेस करना है या फिर?
No, luckily my parents have been extremely supportive, and I'm the only child. But फिर भी they have been very supportive. ऐसे नहीं कि you have to continue the family line and the legacy and just be part of this. So they were very open-minded, and they're like, just whatever you do, you're not here to compete with anyone else, but just be the best version of yourself. Don't be lazy, be hardworking. And my mom always told me that you be consistent, because अगर आप लाइफ में कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं दिखाओगे, then you will not finish. Everybody has that boost at the start कि यार ये करना है, वो करना है, ये बनना है, ऐसा वैसा. But you have to have consistency. In cricketing terms, you can't look at life and your career as a T20 match. You have to look at it as a test series. Every innings, every ball, every session, everything matters. There'll be twists and turns, ups and downs, but finally what matters is, were you consistent? And consistency, मेरे ख्याल से चाहे आपकी निजी जिंदगी में हो या चाहे आपकी प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में हो, it always eventually will pay off.
I heard this one line कि life is a marathon, not a race.
Absolutely. It's not a race, it's not a sprint, it is a marathon. You have to be, there will be good days, bad days. And the most important thing ki how good can you be on your bad day? That actually matters. Some people really lose their shit. And then they reach a point of no return, And unfortunately, the world and society as a whole is such ki you'll do 9 things right, but the world will always judge you based on how you're on your
The
worst
one
day.
thing.
Or how you're when the chips are down. जो कि सबके साथ होता है.
हाँ, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but as an outsider, लोगों का point of view ये होता है कि when you have a connection in the industry, तो फिर getting, obviously probably everyone who has a connection has been an assistant director, has been involved in the industry in some way, first backstage, ताकि समझ आ सके कि acting क्या होती है.
Absolutely.
And for us, it's like कि हाँ connection है तो assistant director का role मिल गया. And I also
see,
feel
you can't deny that. Sorry to cut you short there, but you can't deny that, because it is true. Of course, if you are like say tomorrow, if you come from a family of doctors, obviously it will be a little easier for you. You come from a family of lawyers, so nepotism and all this stuff happens in every field. It's just more glorified because ये एक बहुत ही glamorous सा industry है. But having said that, yeah, sure, maybe my mom will make one call and I might get a job as an intern, or sometimes it's not in a paid job, to just gain some experience. But uske baad, I have to work as hard as everyone else in the room. In fact, I'll probably have to work harder to prove to everybody that I'm here on my own merit and I'm my own person, and I'm not here because of the goodwill of my famous parent.
Yes.
And same thing as an actor. At the end of the day, मैं actor हुई, पर मैं audience भी हूँ. वो मेरे हाथ में है, मुझे कौन से OTT platform को subscribe करना है. It is in my hands whether when I choose to watch a movie. Do I want to spend more? I'll watch it on a Friday or a Saturday or Sunday. Do I'm not that interested, but chalo dekh lete. I'll watch it in the second week on a weekday. So many things. You're not looking at star kid hai, ya outsider hai, ya ye hai, ya wo hai. You're like, do I connect with this actor? Do I like his persona?
हाँ.
क्या मुझे देखनी है? It's a simple thing.
And I always feel कि लोग तो कहते हैं nepotism.
Yeah.
As you said कि वो हर industry.
Theater owners are not charging a different price of admission कि हाँ ये खान है या कपूर है या कुमार है तो इसकी टिकट का हम लोग 500 लेंगे, आउटसाइडर की पिक्चर है तो उसका 200 लेंगे. यू आर पेइंग द सेम अमाउंट ऑफ मनी. वी आर वर्किंग एज हार्ड इन आवर लाइफ टू अर्न दैट मनी एंड वी आर गिविंग इट. सो द पेइंग पब्लिक is the judge, jury and executioner. They are the master and commander of everything at the end of the day. Anybody can say whatever. आप आज भी देखोगे जितने भी whatever you say star kids, Ranbir Kapoor is a star kid, right?
Yes.
Alia Bhatt in a way is a star kid, na? Are they not the 2 biggest stars according to me in our industry right now from the current generation?
Exactly, because
they are there because they are worth it. When a Karan Johar backs a Siddharth Malhotra and backs a Varun Dhawan and backs a Alia Bhatt, he's not obligated to make their career. He gave them an opportunity, but in the way he doesn't want to look silly at the end of the day by launching them. He gave them a good launch, but uske baad what they have done in the last 10 years, 11 years is entirely because of their own perseverance and hard work. So
I agree to you क्योंकि एक दुकानदार भी चाहता है कि मेरा बेटा ही दुकान संभाले मेरे बाद. तो
absolutely.
Nepotism का वो fair share
and
तो
nepotism though happens all over the world. Yeah, it's just it's become kind of cool, to kind of glorify it a little bit extra over here. It's been happening for so many generations.
And do you think कि ये Bollywood पे हर चीज अलग नजर से देखी जाती है? I mean,
I think things have changed a little bit for the better, because I feel a lot of actors have you know, and I would actually credit podcasts and social media, these two things for this, because you know, like even now when we're speaking, apne, yes, I wouldn't call it an interview. It's just two people chatting, right? Interviews a very specific set of questions and all. We're just chatting. Podcast makes a person, an individual, whoever the personality is, feel a lot more open and comfortable. So you feel like sharing more. When I'm on social media, I know that I am in charge of my account, unless of course someone hacks it, right? But I'm in charge of it. So whatever information I want to put out, I can put out. Whatever misinformation I want to put an end to, I can put out a message to do with that also. So you reach the audience directly. Earlier, what would happen is you would have to make a statement, you'd have to give a press release, you'd have to, you know, keep an interview, call all the journalists, and sometimes what you say and what is written is not the same thing. You know, they'll just twist words and all that. So I feel this is a good time in that way.
I think ये social media वाले culture की वजह से knowing actors and knowing celebrities as a personality भी बहुत आसान हो गया, because
I just reiterate my earlier point कि you have to, there are some actors, without naming them, I may appreciate their work as artists, but अगर मुझे उनकी personalities पसंद नहीं हो, then I will not want to watch them. And similarly, there are some actors who may not be the most amazing actors, but I just like their vibe, so I will always watch them. And if I'm flipping channels and I see the interview, I will pause and I will watch that because I like that his or her vibe, you know. So I think that's what it boils down to.
पहले के भी जो stars थे या पहले के भी जो actors थे, वो it is about making a connection with the audience, with podcasts, with interviews, with the social media culture, Instagram. बहुत आसान हो गया for actors to interact with the audience. And you got to be
yourself. That's the most important thing. You know, like it pains me to see so many people acting
on Instagram
or acting in an interview. You know, I'm like, boss, you're a film actor or a TV actor or a web actor. Act or play a character when you have to. Right now, you're on a certain platform or on a certain like a portal because people want to know the real you. Either don't come, or if you come, be yourself. Being yourself is the easiest yet the most difficult thing in the world. It just matters on your perspective and where you are, according to me.
Matlab, now I can know Tanuj while knowing Vayu and Ved.
Exactly, right. Now, those are characters that I've played. Now, of course, I'm sure that there is maybe subconsciously a part of Tanuj in every character, right? I mean, you give a part of yourself to everything, you know, depending on who you are at that point in time, where you are mentally and emotionally, in so many different ways and all. Like if I had to play Vayu again, like I've played Vayu Raghavan thrice, right? 3 seasons of Inside Edge. Trust me, dude, I've been in a different space mentally every single time I played that role, and hence I always joke with my friends and my peers that Vayu is my best imaginary friend that I could ever have, because in 2016 when I performed for the first time, I was literally on the brink of my career. Like, oh my god, I'd done a couple of films, didn't work at the box office. I'm like, kya hoga mera? Web series had not yet become like a thing. Nobody knew like, what is this. People were telling me, yaar, isse acha to YouTube ke videos banao. What are you doing? What is this? Web series, OTT, kaun dega? Why? Yeah, you're here to be a film actor, your mother's a film actor, make her proud, kya kar raha hai and all that. So I was in a different space. Inside Edge 2, that pressure was that, oh my god, we can't let people think that, oh, we are a one-trick pony or like fluke se hit ho gayi. You know, show. And by the time I was in Inside Edge 3, because the turnaround was very less between 2 and 3, I was not even acting as Vayu, I was just being. Because abhi wo mere zehn mein chala gaya tha. Like my director very rarely would have to come and tell me, hey, listen, aise karo, waise karo, because they entrusted me with that character.
With the character,
because they're like, you probably know the character as well or better than we do right now, because you've lived with him for so many years. So my point is, at different junctures of your professional career, you'll be different. So there will be a part of me in each of my characters. But when you're giving an interview or you're doing a podcast or you're there for a social cause, just be yourself.
Actually,
I would like that people love me, hate me, or ignore me for who I am, instead of for who I'm not.
Speaking about Inside Edge, so Inside Edge मेरे लिए, and I'm pretty sure बहुत सारे viewers के लिए भी, it was one of the first web series that blew up. ठीक है, मतलब web series का culture ही उससे पता चला कि Inside Edge is coming. और पहले ही देखा हम लोगों ने, because with all due respect, तब तक विवेक ओबरॉय sir was not in the main character picture, but इस तरीके से web series की वजह से it brought a new life into the industry. तो Inside Edge 1 जब आया था, so it had a very different plot. Obviously, you were also not confident while
Right.
doing कि
Right.
you had opinions being thrown at you. फिर 2 आया and then 3 में तो the stakes went higher कि
Yeah.
then वो IPL sort of plot से
Yeah.
सीधे
Yeah,
international cricket पे
Yes,
चला
yes, yes.
तो what was the mental state जैसे जैसे seasons का transition होता जा रहा था?
Season 1, there was a lot of fear, honestly. I think whatever performance you saw is largely driven by fear. I don't always look at fear as a bad thing. Sometimes it can also be a driving force. When you realize that, like say for example, if I have to jump between 2 buildings and I know that there niche ek safety net hai, so of course because of that height I'll get scared. But I won't be that fearful because I'm like, ठीक है यार, मैं गिरूंगा तो net में गिरूंगा. But when you know that, fuck, there's no net, you go down, you're going down 20 stories. That's it, end of story. So that's how Inside Edge 1 was for me. I had to take every creative choice, whether it is physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever, deliver dialogue in a certain way. And I had to just be like, okay, I'm going to perform this like it's the last performance of my career or of my life. And I just have to give it my best. Who knows what's going to happen? I've thrown a lot at the screen. The audience has rejected it. This is literally like my last throw. And like it's like one of those matches now where you need like maybe like 22 runs in 6 balls and like, oh my god, and if you lose, you're knocked out of the championship and there's no coming back. So that was the way it was. Then Inside Edge 2 was more of like, okay, now we have to prove to the world that we're here to stay and we were not a fluke.
We have to raise the bar.
Raise the bar though, actually more than raising the bar, it's like I want it to organically continue. See, what happens is now, once a show comes out and people love the show and they love your character, somewhere subconsciously you also start treating that show and yourself and your character not organically but rather like a product. Like, oh, people like it when I abuse, I should abuse more this season. Or people like it when I keep doing this with my bat, wo main zyada karunga. So then suddenly that one authenticity wo chala jata hai. Because you're not before season 1 I was not thinking of that. Now I was just thinking like, okay, मैं दिल से सोच रहा था. I was not thinking from my head. You cannot act. Of course, thinking actors are a different thing, but you have to act instinctively from here. At least that's the way I think. I'm not a trained actor or anything, but I act from here. So I had to constantly combat that during the second season in particular, that no, you will not do what you think the audience wants to see. You will do what is best for the character. You will listen to what your co-stars are saying. You will react accordingly. You will listen to what your director, or in my case, my showrunner, Karan Anshuman, to whom I owe a lot in my life and my career, and especially Inside Edge 2. And you just have to be authentic in service of the character that you are playing. Stop doing herogiri, stop doing fan service. Just be authentic. Be the Vayu that you were in season 1. And of course, badlav aata hai because in season 2 he had a girlfriend. And like things changed. There was more responsibility. He became the captain. He really had his back against the wall. In hindsight, fortunately for me, I also had a bunch of stuff going on in my personal life where I just felt like it was me against the world. And somehow I was able to use that, and portray that on screen. Meryl Streep made a very nice statement once. She's like, sometimes in acting, you have to take your broken heart and turn it into art. And that's what I did. So Inside Edge 2 was that sort of journey mere liye, personally speaking. Yeah.
And then 3 का जो transition था वो तो बहुत ही मतलब it was like a 360 degree.
So I mean, for me, my favorite form of cricket as a cricket lover is Test cricket, because I feel it just transcends just being a sport. I mean, there's so much you learn about a human being in the course of those 5 days. Over those different sessions and the conditions being different and the ball being different and the pitch being different and your body just wearing down in this heat. And I truly appreciated it more because we actually started Inside Edge 3 with the cricketing portions. So we usually shoot all the cricket in one schedule. So we started with that. It was in the heat, in the height of summer during the month of May at the Pune, the MCA Stadium right here. About half an hour from here. And man, we used to spend 8-9 hours a day in the sun, and would chakkar aa jati thi. By the end of it now, you're just like so gone. But you have to bring it the next day, and you have to bring it the next day. And I'm like, this is killing me right now, and I'm finding it very difficult. But it's also very rewarding when I watch it on screen. So in a lot of ways, Inside Edge 3 was really brutal. But like I feel the payoff was great, and like the fact that they introduced Test cricket and Pakistan coming to India after so many years, it was a good palate cleanser and a complete change, because so far you're just thinking it's about, you know, T20 cricket and IPL and stuff, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, there's only so much we can keep showing of IPL and you know, white ball cricket and colored jerseys and all that. Let's completely change. Like if just change the table. It was a different table altogether. So I found it really fascinating. So yeah.
जिस भी तरीके से ये सब हुआ,
हाँ.
उसमें one thing जो inside edge में constant थी was कि वायु का confidence went up and up.
Yeah.
I mean, in the first season,
Yeah.
हर कोई देख भी नहीं रहा था वायु को as the main character, because बहुत कुछ, there were a lot of things going on there.
Yeah.
And then coming to the second season, then third season. Now, can you tell me a timeline of when the fourth season of Inside Edge will come?
You know, sorry to disappoint, but I do know that we want to make another season, but unfortunately, I'm just a tiny little piece in this massive puzzle, right? In this massive mechanism of making a fourth season happen. But of course, we have discussed a few ideas and all, but there's nothing concrete, nothing set in stone as yet. So I'm not really at a place where I can give you an update and all, except for the fact that if and when they decide to make it, and if and when they decide to have Vayu back, I'm there no matter what.
We'll definitely want to see you
Because
as Vayu again.
trust me, that show, being on that set with all those wonderful actors, the wonderful team, the technicians, getting to act and play cricket, the two things in this world that I love the most, is really a match made in heaven. And trust me, bro, the amount that that show has given me, you know, I'm not just talking. You know, it's one thing, okay, you know, you're only as good or as bad as your last performance or your last work. So, of course, in that capacity, it saved me, it saved my career, you know, it gave me a fresh lease of life, a second innings. Yeah. But apart from that, it just gives my family so much of, they feel so proud, you know, like, I mean, it's not just like, it's one thing when you're in Mumbai or you're in Delhi or in Bangalore, but imagine I'm in Singapore, I'm in Dubai, I'm in London, I'm in America, you know, because Amazon has such a wide reach. You know, the people from the most unlikely places, they'll reach out to me on Instagram and say these things. You know, not just about the performance and all, just that, you know, like, they're like, you know, we saw you on the show, and, you know, in that particular episode, the chips were down, everybody was against you, but you rose and you fought against like all odds. We want to be like that. We also, you know, there are a couple of people, this is, there are two fans in particular that really, like, it stayed me. One girl got a Vayu tattoo, and I'm like, dude, like, a tattoo is a long-term, like, lifelong freaking commitment, right? I mean, it's a, like, yeah, I'm not a tattoo guy, but I understand, like, it's a commitment. You don't just do it spur of the moment. At least you shouldn't. And the second is, there was a gentleman, I believe, from the UK. He named his son Vayu, and I'm like, this is blowing my mind. I mean, I'm just a guy who wears makeup and acts in front of a camera for a living, and, you know, like, the fact that it's actually affecting people so much, it humbled me. You know, I'm like, you know, I'm never going to grumble on a set again. You know, sometimes, you know, we get cranky, अरे यार कितने takes करने हैं, location इतनी दूर है, blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, you have to. It's a gift. What you've been given by the universe is something truly special, and you just have to learn to respect it and value it and appreciate it, because you're actually making a difference. People are watching this, and the material is really resonating with them.
Actually, I mean, obviously, what I feel is कि जब आपको audience feedback मिलता होगा, तो it is not about the way you acted.
No.
It is about the story.
Yeah.
And वही जीते, because अगर audience acting देख रही है, तो फिर वो समझ आ रहा है that you're acting.
Then they know you're acting, na?
हाँ.
There's a wonderful saying, right? I'd learned this at my acting school at Kishore Namit Kapoor, where he used to keep telling us, he's like, you start acting when you stop acting.
Oh.
And, you know, everyone's like, what the hell does that mean? And doesn't that, and another line he would say, he's like, जिंदगी ऐसे जियो जैसे कि अभिनय कर रहे हो, और अभिनय ऐसे करो जैसे कि जिंदगी जी रहे हो. So if you make it realistic, and I'm not thinking of camera angle, and I'm not thinking of where the light is coming from, and I'm not thinking here, you know, is my co-star covering me? See, the technicalities are important, no doubt. It's better to be informed, but those 5, 10, 15 seconds before they say action, you have to forget all of that. All of that has to just kind of go into the background like noise and become a blur, and you just have to look into your co-star's eyes or whoever you're performing with and just be. If you say those words that you have learned with authenticity and with honesty, I'm not saying it just to you, I'm saying it to everybody who will be sitting at home, everybody who's going to the theater, everybody who will ever watch that particular scene. So it's important to communicate that, and you cannot and you should not be emotionally manipulative. There was a time very early in my career and हमने अच्छा अगर मैं इस सीन को इस तरीके से करूँगा या इस डायलॉग को ऐसे बोलूँगा, so definitely people will laugh, definitely people will cry. You cannot assume or presume what the audience's reaction is going to be. Just do it, and then hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
अच्छा एक चीज और कि I don't think Inside Edge was a totally false show, मतलब
Yeah.
totally masala show,
हाँ.
but it wasn't a total reality. Obviously, you
हाँ.
have to add a little bit of masala
Sure.
and tadka, obviously. So real life में, do you watch cricket? I mean, you like playing cricket,
Bro,
obviously.
I've taken a break from watching the fourth day of the India-England Test match right now to be a part of this. You know, I'm half my mind is like, oh God, but luckily I think the tea break is on.
हाँ.
No, I watch a lot of cricket, but people, you know, often ask me, अरे Tanuj भाई, real life में भी ऐसा होता है क्या? And मेरा जवाब simple है कि honestly मुझे पता नहीं, because मैं उस दुनिया से वाकिफ नहीं हूँ.
हाँ.
I don't know. I didn't get inside edge because I love cricket. I got inside edge because they thought I was right for the role. So what the writers discuss, what digging and what research they do before putting pen to paper, I'm not aware. I don't, because that's their process, right? I get the material, then I have to try and make that material my own. What I do understand is, of course, like things have happened and all. A lot of it is in the public domain, so it's not like you know, आम जनता को
Totally
खबर
out
नहीं है.
of the picture नहीं है.
But of course, when you are making something which is for purely for entertainment purposes, I think the right term to be used over here would be heightened reality. I think what a show like Inside Edge gives the audience is a sense of heightened reality.
थोड़ी exaggerated reality.
Yeah, like slightly exaggerated, right? Because you have to make it more palatable, na?
हाँ.
It's like you eat the same dal at home. It will be boring after 2-3 days. You go and eat that same dal makhni outside a restaurant. Yeah, I'll have more calories, but it will be more because they'll put na those extra masala, this, that, all those fattening things and all that. So we also have to kind of prop it because we want you guys to watch it and we want you guys to enjoy it, and most importantly, we want you guys to want more.
So, are you a literal Mumbai Maverick fan, like IPL में? Are you a Mumbai Indians fan?
I will take you around after this. I have all my jerseys and I have a bunch of memorabilia which nobody has seen till date. We're just putting it up right now. It's a very cool day that you have come, and literally as we speak, they're drilling it into the wall. I'll show you.
Okay.
And of course, I'm a Mumbai Maverick fan. Yeah, it's the best fictitious cricket team in the history of the game.
और real IPL में Mumbai Indians?
Chennai Super Kings, number 1. Mumbai, number 2. Chennai Super Kings because I have...
Thala for a reason.
yeah, absolutely. yeah.
और अभी तो मतलब क्रिकेट की बात थोड़ी डिप्रेसिंग हो जाती है after this World Cup.
Yeah, it was, for lack of a better word, fuck all. It was, I mean, you know, see, you can't fault the team. You know, I find it in extremely poor taste when so-called cricket fans are like, oh, we have not won an ICC trophy for last 10 years. Sure, but are you forgetting that no other team has been as consistent in reaching the finals and reaching the semi-finals of every ICC event? Literally, I think maybe one odd event we have not reached the semis or the finals, right? ठीक है. So you can't fault the mindset, you can't fault the preparation, you can't fault the effort. Sometimes, you know, no matter how hard you try, you know, there's this beautiful scene, there's a beautiful line from Dil Chahta Hai where I believe Akshay Khanna's character Sid, Sid, he's on the beach and this girl is very crazy about Amir Khan, and he just takes some sand and he's like, you know, the more you try and hold the wraith in your hand, the more it's going to fall out. Yeah. So I feel the problem is maybe we are trying too hard. Maybe, you know, they're human at the end of the day. The different Indian cricket teams that have played in the past 10 years across formats. And maybe sometimes, you know, they just get overwhelmed on the day. You know, it's easy for us to be sitting in the luxury and comfort of our homes in an AC room watching on one LED screen and, you know, big cricket pundits and commenting, अरे यार
ये वाला shot
ऐसे क्यों खेला या रोहित को ऐसा shot नहीं खेलना चाहिए था. But that same shot gets Rohit so many runs. The same ball gets them so many wickets. It's just that, you know, the stars were not aligned that day and it was very heartbreaking. But I'm an eternal optimist when it comes to Indian cricket, and it's a matter of time. Now we have a T20 World Cup coming up in USA, of all places now. In fact, me and my friend were just discussing, oh my God, 9th of June, India, Pakistan, New York. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, you always have to look forward to what's next. I think we should be very proud of the way our team played throughout the World Cup. You know, firstly that home.
We were ruthless.
See, you
till
get
the
get
final.
home advantage, but that home pressure is also crazy, right? I mean, I'm sure you have also been to a cricket stadium and seen, and it's almost overwhelming. You know, and imagine if you're one of the players and everybody's chanting your name and this and that, it can get quite crazy out there. But just you use the correct word. We were fucking ruthless. We didn't beat the opposition. We demolished them. It was like one-way traffic. And then finally, Australia were better on the day. I just hope we didn't. I just wish we didn't lose to Australia. I hate losing to Australia.
Exactly.
I would actually prefer losing to Pakistan, but not Australia. Yeah.
Because
And last year, na, I felt extra bad because I personally thought it was one of the best ODI teams we've had in a very long time. Maybe
Very
after
long.
2003 and 2011 World Cup. And secondly, they had already beat us in a World Test Championship finals. And I also believe India is a very, very strong test team. I feel from the three formats, if I had to pick currently, our weakest is T20. I feel we are still like 2 steps behind the better countries in from an adapting
T20.
point of view. That's my personal opinion. But I feel Test and ODIs we are very, very sorted, irrespective whether you're playing in India or overseas or neutral venues.
exactly.
So, yeah.
Because
So बहुत चुका कि यार एक ही साल में
No.
2 बार एक ही टीम के साथ, उनके साथ, and we came so close. Even the World Test Championship, I didn't feel that bad when we lost to New Zealand. I also like New Zealand. I like Kane Williamson. I think they're good guys. Australia,
problem is कि India Pakistan is still a bit of national rivalry.
yeah.
Most of it is national.
But honestly,
rivalry,
don't you feel like वो rivalry थोड़ी थम गई है in recent years? Like I remember when I was growing up and all, like my earliest memories of an India-Pakistan match, probably way before your time, was 1996 Wills World Cup quarterfinal. Amir Sohail taking strike, he hits Venkatesh Prasad for a boundary and he points his bat in that direction saying अगले वाला उधर मारूंगा, and Venkatesh Prasad gets him bowled next ball. And the send off that he gave him, like, we've had classics,
Literally.
the fights between Shahid Afridi and Gautam Gambhir and Harbhajan Singh and
अगर एक इंडिया पाकिस्तान मैच में माँ बहन की गालियां नहीं सुना
yeah. But now I just feel like we don't just beat them, we smash them. Like once in a while, okay, chalo, maybe in T20s they can, but I'm talking about like in 50 over cricket. I don't believe they've ever beat us in 50 over World Cup matches, right?
No,
We
they
have a-
have, I think.
No, in a World Cup?
No, in a World Cup, I don't
World
think
Cup,
so.
no. I think we have is it some 8-0, 9-0 or something?
And it is the beauty
I mean,
of
how many
because
times have we played them?
It was in Champions Trophy final.
No, I'm talking World Cup. Champions Trophy final,
World
the one in
Cups
England,
में-
right?
World Cups में it has been nil because
it's like-
Pakistan was rooting कि इस बार हो जाएगा, but
हाँ.
इस बार तो and the best part is कि पहले it was like a competition when Shahid Afridi and everyone was there, but in the recent times it's like कि हाँ चलो हारने आए हो तुम लोग. So have you drawn inspiration from any of these real life cricket players while
Not consciously, but of course subconsciously. A lot of people ask me, "Arey, Tanuj, is your character inspired by Virat Kohli? Is it inspired by
हाँ, वो aggression तो विराट
Singh? Is
कोहली
it
वाला
this,
है.
that?" To be honest, that's how I play cricket in real life. अगर आप कभी मेरे साथ cricket खेलोगे, which you should, maybe after the podcast,
Definitely.
you will be like, "Dude, he's like that in real life only." So I didn't really have to fake that or bring that. I just had to kind of fine tune that. I had to know what level of intensity was required. I had to show my director this. What is the level you want? What is the level you want in a particular scene? If you also notice, by the time we reach season 3, I'm more level-headed and not as brash because we had to show evolution of the character. Even if you look at Virat Kohli from the earlier part of his career and what he is today, you can see a beautiful evolution. So for me also on screen, because we get to portray these characters year after year, season after season, it gave me a great opportunity to kind of show that he has also matured. He deserves to be the captain of the Indian cricket team, all of that stuff, So so it's not, so subconsciously, of course, watching and absorbing so much of cricket and stuff and all that, maybe few mannerisms and all, but largely it is, I would say,
natural.
and an original interpretation of how I perceive a modern day Indian cricketer to be. Yeah.
Coming from your one project to another.
Ji.
The project that I discovered you from, because I think उसकी scale भी बहुत different थी, was your movie with Sunny Ma'am, One Night Stand.
Yeah.
Yes, because उसकी scale, obviously, the time One Night Stand came out, तो फिर वो TV and the print media were a lot more popular than they are now.
Yeah.
तो फिर how did it turn out? Like वो चीज मिली कैसे आपको?
Arey bro, I'll tell you a funny story. So I was driving back home and I get a call from an agency and they're like, hey, listen, we want you to test for a new film with Sunny. So I'm like, yeah, sure, why not, you know? So I'm like, can I have the scene? They're like, no, the director will be there herself. So they'll give you the scene there. I'm like, okay, that's a little nerve-wracking because I usually like to learn my lines and understand ki yaar karna kya hai exactly. But I went. And I went and I started reading the scene over there and I'm like, wait, is this a joke? They're like, no, this is the scene. And I'm like, I have to walk up to a bar and flirt with Sunny Deol. And they're like, no, not that Sunny. This is got Sunny Leone. I'm like, oh fuck, what are you saying? I'm like,
मेरे दिमाग में आया था कि you might have misunderstood.
So then I'm like, guys, can I come back and do this tomorrow? Because I really came here expecting that I'm going to be performing a scene, keeping Sunny Deol in mind and all, you know. They're like, no, but we told you Sunny. I'm like, yeah, but you just said Sunny, right? You didn't say, yeah. Anyways, the rest is history, as they say. I got it and I had the most wonderful time because, you know, in hindsight, I feel maybe it was not the best title for the film because it makes it appear that, you know, like something is really not a typical sort of, yeah, but which was really not the case. What I appreciated about the film is that you learn about infidelity and commitment in marriage in a relationship from a woman's point of view, you know. It largely had women. I was the only main guy lead in the film. It was directed by a woman. There's a lot of female energy on that set. So I think because of that, that male gaze was not an issue, and it was very beautiful to see, you know, where she kind of says right towards the end of the film that, you know, like if a guy hooks up with 100 women, they call him a stud, but if a woman were to do the same thing, they call her a slut. Why in our society do we have these double standards and hypocrisy? The same rule should apply to both. And I just thought that it was a film which probably didn't get its due at its time, but I think it's gained a decent audience over the years. But I'm very, very proud that I was able to be a part of that film.
I think वो थोड़ा सा
even though my character was a bit of a dickhead, but it was, yeah, it's cool.
वो थोड़ा सा there was, I think वो थोड़ा intimacy पे ज़्यादा marketed थी movie इस वजह से.
Yeah, and you know
found the wrong audience.
Yeah, I actually feel the marketing campaign was not aligned with what the movie was trying to say because they were just kind of promoting the songs and they were just showing like the hot scenes and all. And when people actually saw the film, they're like, okay, there are no more hot scenes because इसमें तो you know that cheap crowd, अरे इसमें तो कुछ है ही नहीं, ये तो कहानी बता रहे, तो हम तो कहानी बताएंगे ना यार. We're not making a blue picture or something, you know. So there was a story that we wanted to say, and I'm very, very proud of that film. I really wish more people had seen it when it had released.
Definitely. And with that, we have come to the KATAAKSH segment of the show.
Okay, let's go.
Can we have the cue cards, please? Yes. So before we start with the KATAAKSH segment, मैं आपको थोड़ा सा बता देता हूँ. तो KATAAKSH segment वो segment है जहाँ पे I'll give you opinions जो कि आप पे या आपकी इंडस्ट्री पे थ्रो होते हैं, और उस पे आपके क्या कटाक्ष हैं, that you can let the audience and the viewers know.
So I have to give my opinion on the opinions that you are giving me.
Yes. I mean,
but is it like a yes or no sort of thing, or
no? You have to give.
Okay, ठीक है, चलो, let's go.
So coming from, we were just now talking about Sunny ma'am, right?
जी.
So your next one of the biggest upcoming projects is you're going to be the host of Splitsvilla.
Yes.
Splitsvilla season 15.
Yes.
So you're replacing MTV's biggest house name, Rannvijay, and the last season was hosted by Arjun Bijlani. So how does that change come about to you?
You know, firstly, I don't know whatever transpired why he's not part of the season. I also do not know him personally, so I don't think using the term replacing him is a good thing because the man has contributed so much and been part of so many seasons of Splitsvilla as well as many other very, very successful reality shows, right? So maybe he want to move on, maybe he want to try different things, you know, to each his own. जब मैं इस शो का हिस्सा बनूंगा and we've not started filming the season, but we're going to start fairly soon. I'm not even watching any of the old episodes because then subconsciously I should not feel like I'm doing किसी और का नकल, whether it's Arjun, whether it's Ran, whoever it is, right? I have to put my own stamp, just like they put their own stamp on it. So I just think this is a gradual evolution because the show is bigger than any one individual. लोग आते हैं, लोग जाते हैं. What eventually matters is the show itself, and Splitsvilla has been around since what, 2008, 2009 maybe. 15. This is the 15th season.
Yes.
So yeah.
So
excited.
You want to add Tanuj Virwani, not replace Rannvijay, right?
I will never want to replace whether it's Rannvijay or replace anyone else. I don't like that word only. You know, I'm sure he's doing some amazing work right now, and I will always wish him the best. I'm not here to replace anyone. I'm just here to try and get you guys on board for the new season and leave my own lasting
Mark.
impression. Yeah.
Yes.
So that when tomorrow someone else does a show and not me, they'll like, "Arey yaar, isko kyun liya? Tanuj ko replace kyun kiya?" So you have to, be the best version of yourself. Because if I try and be like Rannvijay or I try being like Arjun, I'm always going to fail because you can never be as good as the original. You can only be the best version of yourself.
So are you hyped up for working again with Sunny?
Absolutely, I love working with her. She's a consummate professional. उनके साथ काम करने में बड़ा मजा आता है. And you know, it's so nice. We actually shot for something recently for the show only, and so nice to meet and reconnect after so many years. You know, of course, I was at a very different juncture of my life and my career that time. I just
You're a
started
little
off.
immature, do you think?
Of course, I was, right? I mean, I shot with her back in 2015.
हाँ.
So I mean, almost 9 साल हो चुके हैं. तो the person really,
Evolves.
Yeah, where were you 9 years back, right? I mean, think about it that way, and you will see that you have also evolved so much in 9 years. So yeah, it's very nice.
So what can we expect from Tanuj as a host in Splitsvilla season 15?
Definitely एक authenticity, because I feel when like the first thing the makers told me is that we want you to be yourself. Don't play a character. Just be yourself. We like your personality. We like your vibe. Don't change that, because that's the biggest thing, the biggest USP you have going for you. So I'm just going to think about like stuff very organically. I'm going to try and be very supportive to all the contestants and all that. I want what is best for them. I don't want to just chedo them for no reason and all. Like they're like youngsters and all. They also want to come and make a name for themselves and everything. And also, it is our job to be responsible hosts. Irrespective kaun kya kehta hai or what and all that, you got to keep the peace. And of course, there will be fun. I'm sure there'll be fights, there'll be drama, there'll be all that stuff. But as long as things don't cross a line, it's all good. I don't like when we as the audience enjoy entertainment at the cost of someone else or by making someone feel miserable. That's not very nice.
वरना फिर Tanuj का वो aggressive side, impatient side बाहर आ जाए.
नहीं तो वायु रागवन आ जाएगा यार. हाँ, और बैट के साथ. हाँ.
Okay. तो जो नेक्स्ट चीज मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूँ कि मोस्टली इंडस्ट्री में लोग कहते हैं कि अवार्ड्स खरीदे हुई चीज है.
हाँ.
या स्पॉन्सर्स के बेसिस पे अवार्ड्स मिलते हैं. रिसेंटली आई थिंक इन द ईयर गली बॉय रिलीज. So most of the filmfare were thrown at Gully Boy, and people said कि
Hey, but I wouldn't say thrown at Gully Boy. I thought Gully Boy was a fantastic film, yeah. Honestly speaking, it was a very very good film, and of course मेरा थोड़ा personal bias है because obviously Siddhant Chaturvedi is a dear friend of mine, right? We've also worked together, and just to see him evolve from playing Prashant Kanoja to playing MC Sher was kick-ass. But I was not even surprised because the boy is supremely talented and very hardworking. Perfect combination any actor should have. And yeah, so I don't think awards were thrown, but there are other films which I feel are not deserving of so many awards, and I also feel like there are too many awards in this country, and most of them are not very legitimate.
So have you ever been offered such awards?
Many times.
Perform kar do, and not even for the performance.
No, sometimes they just like show up for so and so event and we'll give you an award. मैं जाता हूँ. I have no problem. I have absolutely no qualms in accepting awards. I will never pay for an award, mind you. I will never do it in exchange for something like a financial transaction, because I feel if you're good enough, then you don't need to buy it. But I mean, like, if you want to felicitate me and give me an award, and if I'm free on that date and it just involves me showing up for 20 minutes and all, absolutely, why not?
But let's say कि वो award ऐसा है कि you're there with a nomination of someone who even you feel he is more deserving than you, तो फिर आप ले लोगे वो award.
See, but by me feeling I'm less deserving or something, that's one person's opinion. That's just my opinion. No? At the end of the day, there's a reason, there's a jury, or if it's like by public voting and all, then it's up to them. So as long as things are fair and square and there's no foul play, I'm no one to decide who's the best performer. I might think someone who's not even nominated in the 5 people is the best performer. Yeah, should have won. But मेरे कहने से क्या होता है? हाँ. It's not like my own private घर पे रखे हुए awards, ना. So it's not really in my hands. But if you are nominated and if you win the award, then you must respect the award and the jury and just accept it, na. And that's about it.
And last चीज जो मैं जानना चाहता हूँ कि when you shot Inside Edge,
1, 2, 3, which one?
every season.
Okay.
When the whole culture of OTT started, from web series to movies to everything, so tab there was no involvement of censor board as such.
Right.
Tab it was like just another platform jaise YouTube hai.
Yeah.
And you can put out everything that you
Yeah.
want to. इसी वजह से I think strong language, sexual content ये सब हम लोग को OTTs पे relatively पहले देखने को मिल
जी.
गया than the big screen.
जी जी.
But now with the recent times थोड़ा censor board involvement ले रहा है in the OTT
Yeah.
product as well.
Right.
तो क्या इस वजह से OTT के प्रोडक्ट में चेंजेस आएंगे या डाउनग्रेड होगा, इस पे आपके क्या कटाक्ष?
See, downgrade or upgrade, at the end of the day, I don't think गाली गलोच or sex scenes make or break a show. Of course, कई ऐसे shows है, case in point being like something like a Mirzapur, where you have to show a certain गाली गलोच to show the milieu of the show, authenticity of it, or like a Sacred Games or like a Patal Lok. Without that, the shows will be incomplete. But ऐसे बहुत सारे shows है जो नाम के वास्ते ऐसे forcibly डाल देते because they feel that sells. So I think in the words of Uncle Ben from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So of course, makers, actors, creators, writers, platforms should all believe in self-censorship. That guys, come on, you want to make something that you can watch with the entire family, and for whatever reason you feel like your content is a little skewing older, then you have to put some sort of tag that okay, please, parental
Disclaimer.
guidance is advice and like whatever. But I feel, and this happens with me, and I've had to fight with the writers and the people in charge sometimes, that why are you all shoehorning bad words for the fuck of it? Why the hell are you all putting sex scenes and really vulgar scenes for the heck of it?
If it is necessary for the story,
and sometimes
then
he'll turn around and be like, हाँ पर आपने ये सब किया है, one night stand में किया है, आपने inside edge में करी है ये वो. I'm like, वाह बनता था, because the story and the situation and the character demanded that. But for the fuck of it, why am I going to do it? अरे आपके तो double standards हैं, हमने आपके नहीं है क्या? I'm like आप मुझे समझाओ कि why this scene needs to be part of my show. I will do it, but I have to have conviction, because if I don't have conviction as an actor, then I will not be able to convince you guys as the audience. You'll be like, यार इसका मन ही नहीं था इस scene में.
हाँ.
So it is very important, but I also feel that too many shows and too many OTT platforms, and we need to shrink it down now, because we are taking a massive dump on quality by just producing quantity. It's become like this thing, just dalte raho, just keep throwing hundreds and hundreds of things at the wall, and hopefully 5-10 things will stick. So I just feel that needs to change a little bit, yeah.
Because OTTs का culture ही वैसे.
And the same thing should apply to movies, that applies to like web series, because at the end of it, like even movies eventually come on OTT platforms after their primary and initial release. तो मेरे ख्याल से वो double standards नहीं होने चाहिए. Like if you have there's so many restrictions on what you can and cannot do and cannot say in a film. So the same thing should apply to the web,
But there also comes a point कि जहाँ पे movies like Animal, जो कि big screen पे जाती हैं, उनमें भी गालियाँ होती हैं, या फिर they have their own fair share of adult content, maybe can be extreme violence as well.
Yeah.
But वहाँ पे it is necessary for the story, so people do not have much objection.
And the most important thing is, see, they very proudly put out the thing saying that it's an adult, like the R rating and stuff, right? So they wrote that. Now उसके बाद, whether as a parent or as an elder or a guardian, अगर आप अपने बच्चे को ले जाना चाहते हो या don't, you have been warned. Then you put whatever. The makers of Animal have not done anything wrong. It's not like they were promising you like one sweet little cute love story. They were not promising you "Ae Dil Hai Mushkil," na. They were saying you're going to get to see Ranbir Kapoor in a never seen before Avatar. Simple si baat hai, and that's exactly what they did. And also because of the director's prior work, you have some idea. Like if you're a fan of his work, which is again quite divisive. Some people like it, some don't like it. You know what to expect. So, you don't go to a Japanese restaurant being expected to be served butter chicken, right? You need to know, it's written at the entrance, this is a Japanese restaurant. So similarly here, you knew you're going to get violence from the very first teaser and the trailer only. It was very evident that it's going to be bloody and violent and there'll be expletives. And still it went on and made over 500 crores, right?
And still, matlab, people will always have their opinions. People had ki isme misogyny.
Haters going to hate, right? If Animal came and it sunk without a trace and it made 5 crore rupees, I'd be like, okay, there's a point. But the fact is, majority of the people went to the theater and they went again, despite it being almost a 3.5 hour long picture. So you got to give the makers their due. उन्होंने पूरे conviction के साथ वो picture बनाई. I'm not saying, whether it's right or wrong or it's a good film or a bad film. मेरे opinion से कुछ घंटा कुछ change होने वाला है. But I'm just saying, as a community, the same people who bash these films or same people who bash Kabir Singh went and made it now more than 300 crores. So if you feel so strongly against a material, then मत देखो ना, but सब देखते हैं.
I also feel कि इंडिया में वो चीज थोड़ी ज्यादा आ जाती है.
Bro, double standards.
हाँ.
That's it.
I mean, एक बहुत ही पॉपुलर सीन एनिमल की बात कर रहे हैं अभी हम लोग, तो मुझे याद आ रहा है कि जो होटल वॉयलेंस वाला सीन है उसमें बहुत सारे लोगों ने बोला कि पुलिस क्या कर रही थी, ये अपने प्रेमाइज में इतनी वॉयलेंस कैसे कर सकते हैं. बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू हॉलीवुड मूवीज लाइक जॉन विक एंड एवरीथिंग, तब फिर लोग
I have till date not seen a single cop in any of those 4 John Wick movies. Have you?
No.
I've not seen a cop in the city. I've not seen a cop in the desert. कोई कुछ नहीं बोलता.
But then people are like,
I was recently in Paris. I was recently in Paris for my honeymoon. So we were around the same place where they were where they shot John Wick. So me and my wife, we were discussing. I'm like, yeah, on that staircase scene in John Wick. I'm like, fucker, we killed so many people. At least 50, 60 people they must have killed on the staircase. Only एक भी पुलिस वाला नहीं था. हम लोग यहाँ पे पेरिस आए, इतने सारे पुलिस वाले मिलिट्री में आउटफिट्स में ये वो कहाँ थे? So वहाँ पे suspension of disbelief is allowed. Why? Because it's Hollywood. So why is it not allowed here? And it's not like you're showing in Animal that Rannvijay just got away unscathed. At the end of the day, he's a broken man at the end of the film. In order to gain acceptance from his father, he lost so much more. His father's about to die. His wife has left him. His health is down in tatters permanently, so he can't hear properly. So it's not like people are criticism is that, oh, he didn't have to bear consequences for his actions. Are you fucking kidding me? Just because he didn't die. In fact, I feel in certain characters and certain situations, death is the easy way out. Now it's gone. You're gone in a second. This is like that. Let's slow death. Like now, whatever they do in Animal Park in the sequel, it should be very interesting, and I really hope they do a good job and they crack it well, because the recipe is like just fantastic where they've left things off. It is one of the best cliffhangers.
Yes, and the point is
that post credit scene तो यार मैं पागल हो गया.
Exactly, मतलब we were like कि चलो बैठे रहते हैं, all of us together went to watch the movie and we were like कि चलो बैठे रहते हैं, and then when the post credits I was like एक second, Marvel की कोई movie देखने आया था मैं.
मेरे थिएटर में तो people start getting up and going because we're not used to post credit culture, but I had heard from like some reviews and all that guys stay back there. There's a scene and it's freaking important and all that. So I saw it in Lonavala only. So the guy was shutting the projector off. It's a little like home theater over here. तो हमने ये चालू कर, खत्म नहीं हुआ, बच्चा है हैं हमने इसे आपको कैसे पता आज ही तो रिलीज हुई. हमने अरे भाई आप डालो, आप देखो अपने रील पे और है बच्चा. अच्छा ठीक है डाल देते हैं. Then he put it back on and then the audience was अरे thank you. This actually happened.
Tanuj Virwani goes into
this happened right now also. I went to watch Fighter the other day and that nice song Ishq Jaisa is not in the film. It's there in the end credits. So people got up and started walking away. I'm like, listen, there's one very sexy song coming up. Come back. Luckily that same projectionist was saying, हाँ आपको तो पता ही होगा. हमने हाँ लगा दो. लाइट भी चालू मत करो, लाइट बंद रखो, एसी बंद मत करना. Like my own private theater.
So with this we have come to the end of the KATAAKSH segment.
Yeah.
तो एक चीज और जो कटाक्ष सेगमेंट के बाद मुझे ज्यादा समझ आती है कि एक्टर्स इन जनरल और यू स्पेसिफिकली हैव अ वेरी डिफरेंट अप्रोच टुवर्ड्स व्हाट वी परसीव एज ऑडियंस.
जी.
मतलब हम लोगों को ये लगता है कि एवरीथिंग इज मेड फॉर द आई कैंडी ऑफ ऑडियंस. कि अगर एनिमल इस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बनाई गई है कि हाँ ये सिग्मा मेल जिन लोगों को देखना है, जिनको वॉयलेंट मूवीज देखनी है,
sure.
उनके लिए जो लोग हॉलीवुड की 100 देखते हैं वो लोग इंडिया में एनिमल देख सकते हैं. सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ अप्रोच. बट एज यू सेड कि जब एक्टिंग करने बैठता हूं मैं तो फिर इट्स मोर ऑफ अ कि लाइक हाउ डू आई वांट टू प्रोजेक्ट द कैरेक्टर. सो कभी ऐसा होता है कि स्टोरीज ही आप चेंज कर देते हो बिकॉज you feel the projection of character is not right here?
No. See, firstly, I think it's very wrong when actors do that. See, unless and until you are on that level or you are a co-producer or a producer or a co-writer on the show or the film, in that case, do whatever you want to. It's your baby, it's your material. But as an actor, I'm just another cog in the machinery of that particular project. Of course, an important cog, but a cog nonetheless. I can give my opinion. Now, if I have not said yes to a film, and I'll be like, sir, but or ma'am, I feel this, I'm not comfortable with this. I think maybe it should be this. If they reject my feedback, then I won't do the film. But once I've said, okay, I'm doing the film, then it's wrong for me to come and change things. Again, while shooting, I can give my feedback कि मुझे नहीं लगता कि इस सीन में बंदा ये बोलेगा, maybe he can say this, but maybe he can say it like that. And that's what I've not really had any bad experience where people have usually been quite responsive to me. Many times also, this is an exercise that I like doing. I take the dialogue and I kind of just like tweak it or like sometimes rewrite it without changing the context of things, because I feel आप किसी और के thoughts, किसी और के शब्द को अपना बनाना चाह रहे हो. You have to kind of say all that, and you have to say it, and whether I'm giving 10 takes or whether it's my first take, I have to say it like I've just had that thought and I'm saying it for the first time. So that certain freshness is required. So I like to say it in my own way, which flows off my tongue in a better way, which I think is the most organic way of speaking. So I'll make few changes like that. And of course, when you do something like that, it is your responsibility and out of sheer decency to tell the writer, whoever's on set, to tell your director, and also most importantly to tell your co-stars, because they need to know what you're saying, na? Because aisa nahi ki you're saying something, but they've learned their dialogue, so they're responding to that. So I think these things are important. But I would never do what you just suggested right now.
एक और project आपका जो which is very special for me was another recent project of yours, BAJAO, because I am a huge hip hop buff और उस पे रफ्तार का Babbar you're playing with. So how was it to be on the sets with, I mean, I'm not sure if you listen to a lot of Indian hip hop music.
I started listening after I signed BAJAO, ताकि मैं उस दुनिया के साथ थोड़ा वाकिफ हो जाऊँ, and I understood that underground sort of, you know, North Indian hip hop scene. Because honestly, up until that point, I was only aware of like the basic stuff that we get in Bollywood. You understand? So I think that BAJAO really changed my perspective, and yeah, I love working on that show.
So, आपकी जो discography नहीं, the cinematography that you have, all the movies and the projects that you have, filmography, I'm so sorry. So उसमें it is a mixed bag of things.
Yeah.
BAJAO, Ved is a funny character, obviously, and then
actually now more than Ved being a funny character, the world that he is placed in is very funny. So the way I tried playing that character is that it should be a tragedy for him, but comedy for the audience. You understand? So I feel the other two, Sahil Khattar and Sahil Ved, their characters, Kuki and Dhari, they were intentionally funny. They had the one-liners, they had the laugh out loud moments. Raftaar had a different journey, obviously, on the show. Like he's on the trail of a comeback and he's rising like a phoenix from the ashes. Like life had dealt him a bad hand. So his story was very different. Mine was just like, I'm stuck with all these buffoons in this crazy situation and how I'm dealing with it. So I really had a lot of fun, and of course, it was very nice for me to try something quite hatke, because up until that point, you guys have seen me in more drama-oriented, more intense, action-oriented roles and all that. Even maybe romantic roles, but not in a outright comedy. So yeah, I really enjoyed working on BAJAO.
So, what is next for you? I mean, what are some upcoming projects जो आप अभी कर रहे हो?
So I'm very excited for this year. We have a bunch of different things coming out. I think first up, what you guys will see is Yodha. It's my first dharma film.
Yes, with
it's going to be it's going to be out on the 15th of March. It's got Sid. It's got Disha. It's got Rashi Khanna and myself. It's a political high octane thriller. That's all I can say right now. But like very, very cool, and it was so exciting for me to kind of shoot for a project of that scale, and it was just like amazing.
Being on a dharma set itself,
fantastic,
must be an
absolutely, yeah. Then I've got another really interesting film with Vijay Raz, Brinder Kalra, Zakir Hussain, and Zarina Wahab called Johnny Jumper. It's a comic caper, very fast-paced thing set in Bhopal. I'm a cable wala, and I come and repair the dish antenna, but I'm also a mole for the police over there and stuff and all that. So it's a very interesting story. It happens in a very finite period of time. Can't say more about it. I think I've already said too much. I've done a show with one of my favorite actors, KK Menon. It's a show called, it's called Murshid. सब पता है यार, मैं क्या बताऊँ ही क्या. So and ironically, our common friend Vedika is also part of that.
Yes, Vedika was on.
Yes. So even she's very excited about that, and
she told us that she's playing in.
So it's a very interesting baap beti ki kahani hai, and of course she's also got a very strong role in it. So very excited.
We have you on the podcast. We have Vedika on the podcast. Maybe when Murshid releases, we can have.
You call me, and I promise you, both of us will be there whenever and wherever you say. Done.
Definitely. We'll be looking forward to it.
Yes. So I have that. I recently did this really interesting, very cute rom-com called Puppy Love. It's got Trida Chaudhary, Divya Agarwal, and Nikki Tamboli in it.
Okay.
And I just finished shooting for a new show for Applause. It's not titled as yet. It's got Rahul Dev and Mustafa Berman, who is Mastan's Abbas Mastan's son. Lovely guy. So yeah, that's again a very fast pace. I'm playing an ACP in that. So like yeah, so got a bunch of different things. And now of course looking forward to Splitsvilla. Yeah, so bunch of different things. And the good thing is what I've very consciously tried to do is I'm like in each of these shows and films, I hope, I mean, at least that's the intention, that the characters are very different. Because for me, now, if I keep doing the same kind of acting, it's going to get boring for me, which means eventually it will get boring for you all. So maybe some will work, maybe some won't, but I've definitely tried to kind of broaden and flex my acting muscles more. You know, yeah. Real muscles so zyada hai nahi, to main socha ki acting hi kar leta hu. Haan.
No, definitely you have a very nice build.
But I'm not a gym guy.
You're not a gym guy. You look like
I like playing sports. I love running. I love swimming. I love outdoor activities. Of course, मजबूरी से मैं कभी-कभार चला जाता हूँ gym, but I don't enjoy it.
I shook your hand and I was like, what am I holding? Is this
really? Arey, no. Yeah, you make me sound like Sunny Deol. Yeah. No, that's all maybe just like cricket and stuff. Yeah.
So, what is something that you've taken from the characters? Because all of the actors that I have met till now,
Right.
वो लोग कहीं ना कहीं ऐसा कि they've adopted something from their characters.
Sure.
We had Harsh Mayer on the podcast who has played a role in Gullak, and he looked like a very chunky, very fun kind of a guy.
Yeah.
Just like his character.
Yeah.
So, what is something that you've taken, for example, let's say from Ved or from Vayu, because you've given a lot to them?
Very interesting question. What have I taken from Vayu? I think what I've taken from Vayu is that never say die attitude. That in cricket, just like it is in life, the match is not over till the last ball is bowled. So don't give up ever, because he's got a tremendous spirit. Even when the world is saying 100,000 negative things about him, and this has happened in every season, 1, 2, and 3 for different reasons. He's always found a way to strike back. So I never say die spirit, and that attitude that he has is fantastic. From Ved, I think what I'll take away is sometimes it pays to be a decent man in an indecent world, because eventually, all said and done, when you have a pure heart, no matter what happens, you might lose many battles, but eventually you will win the war. So that's what I take from him.
So with this, we've come to the end of the podcast. It was great talking to you, Tanuj.
I told you, you don't have to give me questions in advance, and you don't have to ask me what you can and cannot ask, because I find, and I'm genuinely telling you, I find podcasts very refreshing. It's almost like therapeutic, in a way, because normally जब हम interviews देते हैं, तो we are giving it specifically for a show or a film. So it is, that time I'm on someone else's payroll. I have to make sure that I plug the show. I have to speak about that. But right now we're just I feel I'm getting to know myself better because of these podcasts, because you guys ask me such interesting questions, about my craft, about my work, about my life as a whole. So it's been fantastic being part of this.
Definitely. Having you here, वो मेरे लिए भी बहुत ही refreshing था, because mostly what happens is that when we have someone on our show, that it is about their experiences and their journey. And your journey has been a very...
Hopefully this is just the beginning of the journey, and hopefully next time we meet and all,
I think
there'll be so many more things to discuss.
You're at the first few steps of your career.
Yeah.
You'll rise much higher.
Hope so.
And I definitely knock on
Thank you. I hope we all rise together.
Thank you so much, Tanuj. It was great having you on.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, guys. तो कैसे लगे आज के कटाक्ष? उम्मीद है ये पॉडकास्ट आपको भी उतना इंटरेस्टिंग लगा होगा.
अगर इंटरेस्टिंग लगा तो लाइक करें, शेयर करें, सब्सक्राइब करें और कमेंट करें अपने कटाक्ष.
हमारे साथ कटाक्ष करना मत
But you know, I'm like fucking Drake G. जो मन किया वो करूँ, अंग्रेज नहीं. Ay, अब खत्म करे बातें, मेरे यार जिंदगी यूं ही निभा दे. और फिर इस पॉडकास्ट को कह दे चलो सब्सक्राइब करो, थोड़ा थम्स अप दिखा दे क्या.